Have a seat, take a load off, it's time. It's crime time with Mr. Big. It's crime time with Mr. Big.
Critical blast logistics, getting it done, getting it there. Critical blast logistics, getting it done, getting it there. The world has got you down, a smile on your brow. Put a little madness in your life. If life made you unashamed, comics are your estate. Put a little madness in your life. Come give your mind a cleanse. Tune in with pops and friends. Just turn on your Roku box and then put a little madness in your life. Put a little madness in your life. Yeah, yeah. Put a little madness in your life. At a cursed crossroads where souls collide, see the Prince of Darkness, see the Prince of Lies, while the world lies sleeping and the moon's aglow. They may meet with the devil, you know, when your heart is quaking and your soul can't rest. Open up the pages of the devil you know best. People face their demons as each tale unfolds, but the devil's in the details, and their fate's been sold. Hear their fate's been sold, and they're lost to hell. That's the deal you have to make with the devil you know well. It's a Critical Blast podcast.
That's me.
With our special guest, Mr. Big himself, Wayne Clingman.
That's him. Oh, that was a bad echo in my ears there. Headphones are not doing what they should do. Wayne, can you hear me okay?
I can hear this fine, sir.
And you're not echoing back to yourself, so
No, sir.
that's all that's important. Wayne, welcome to the show. Folks, this is a little different. You're used to coming in here and finding crowdfunded comics. You're used to coming in here an hour and a half earlier. It's because it's a totally different kind of show. Wayne is an author of real books. You know,
Oh,
I almost said the kind without pictures, but that doesn't count anymore because we did something this time around. What Wayne makes a name for himself writing about true crime and the mafia and the different mobs. I've learned so much just working with Wayne on these different books because what's the mafia? It's a defunct organization is what it is. It doesn't exist. Well, there's a bunch of them apparently.
yes, sir.
And it's just some fascinating stuff. Wayne, first of all, I'm going to ask you, how did you get involved first with having an interest in this? I mean, did mobsters run over your puppy when you were a kid or something? Or
no, sir. In fact, my mother passed a few years ago. She left a little money for us, which we mostly put in the house. But at the same time, I had a little bit of money to do something fun with. It was either going to be a movie on Jeffrey Dahmer, because I'm out of Milwaukee, or something interesting more about Milwaukee, which of course it's had its own little mafia. So we thought, why don't we do a movie on the guy Frank, right? The Life and Times of Great Frank Bersuri, right?
Yeah.
And that process, we requested a lot of information from the FBI using FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, and we had so much information. We thought we could write a book, so we did, which would be one that you'll be doing for us in a few months, we hope.
That is correct. Yes.
And then, of course, other books come along. Yeah.
Yeah, we are working with Wayne here to publish his books. This is actually the second book we've done through Critical Blast Publishing. That's actually harder for me to say than it should be. The first one being The Mafia in Hollywood. So if you are interested in history and the history of Tinseltown, you might be interested in checking that out and seeing how the mob itself had a major hand in shaping the path that Hollywood has taken. And if you're interested in the Buffalo Mob, which is the one we're talking about tonight, that link is the very first link right below here. Click on it. It will take you to a page where you can buy Frank's book directly. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it in Walmart. You can find it on Barnes & Noble. But if you click that link directly, Wayne's going to get more money. So
it's important that we all make more money. The idea here, my objective in life is not only making a little bit of money to help support the family, help support the stray cats outside, but everything else comes to pass, help everybody out. Because one hand washes the other, a rising tide lifts all boats.
I agree with that, and we're trying to make the tide rise for everybody, ourselves included. But
absolutely.
But the biggest cut goes to Wayne. So check that out. And then if you want to see what else we're doing, there's another link down there that will take you to the Critical Blast Publishing page. Nice little formatted catalog page of all the different titles we've worked on: young adult novels, graphic novels, horror anthologies. In fact, you saw that trailer we ended with before we came on here for The Devil You Know Best. Wayne, I said nothing's happening in February. Here we are, because I'm working solidly 24 hours 7 on finishing that up. We finished up the hard part today. We have filled all 26 slots for the book, so I've got to go through and collect about 200 email addresses for the people who didn't make it in and let them all know. That's going to be the slog. That's a lot of mails to send out, but it's just down to really the formatting, getting them in the right order so they read nice and smoothly. And because I always have something to do. The second we closed the reading period on The Devil You Know Best, you know what we did?
No.
We opened the reading period on this.
Once upon a modern time in a little cul-de-sac, black characters from myth and rhyme decided to come back. They moved into a cuter house, they bought a boat and car, they got a job, they got a spouse, they're ready to go far. This modern life, with all its strife, is wilder than before. You won't forget the day you met the fables next door. You won't forget the day you met the fables next door.
We're serious about publishing books and publishing different creators. I'm not sitting out here writing one book and publishing it and writing another book and publishing. I'll be involved to that level, but we're putting new voices out there, and
Absolutely.
we're paying them. So, it's, which is new for me.
We're new.
But okay, so the Buffalo Mob. This is the book that's out there right now, and this is an illustrated extended edition where we worked with each chapter to look through the cast of characters here, and there's a wide cast of people who were involved in this. And what I'm trying to spit out here is that unlike the Hollywood book, this is not a historical look back. This is, I found out, current events. This is in the news right now. People are following this case very, very religiously. Can you nutshell it for us as to what kicked this off? What put this into the news?
The book or the crime?
The crime. What is the crime?
The crime is, I'm so bad with my pronunciation names. All right, I'm going to scribble these names. So
They're Italian. Of course you are. Come on.
Okay. Joe, I can't even pronounce the last name. The nephew of the guy that runs a pizza business in Buffalo, right? DeTuro, right? Has a strip club. Is alleged by the FBI that in the strip club he's running drugs, running sex trafficking, gambling, you name it, he's involved in it, right? That's only the beginning of it. Also involved in the crime is allegedly a dirty D agent. His head of security, which is a member of the outlaw motorcycle gang, a unindicted co-conspirator was a former New York Supreme Court judge who committed suicide. Suicide. After the first time he didn't quite commit suicide enough, but the second time he got it right. No, this is only the beginning, because what we have going into the trial is one of the witnesses who testified in front of the grand jury but did not live to make it to trial was a woman that used to work for the guy that owned the strip club. Fine. During the time leading up to his trial was not yet take place, she is worried about being killed. She's telling her friends, I'm scared, I'm going to die. I'm terrified I'm going to die, right? Somebody help me. She has these going on. At the same time, the owner of the strip club is alleged to use a messenger to send death threats. Is alleged as well that he also had someone put dead rats on her car, right? Sadly to say, the poor woman died about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, from an overdose of her drugs laced with fentanyl. And originally, it was ruled an accidental OD. Tragic situation, without a doubt. The FBI is now thinking about reopening the case as a murder. Oh, really? I'm no expert. I'm not a legal expert. I don't know how the federal people charge, but I'm thinking you kill a fellow witness, you might be looking at the needle.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, no. If that's the case, I mean, that penalty might be on the table. If that's the case, will nephew, the owner of the strip club, the nephew of the guy that's alleged to run the mafia in Buffalo, will he flip? Will his head of security, the motorcycle gang leader, flip? Will anybody else flip? And if so, what now opens up? When you look at Buffalo back in the past, which we did with the beginnings, right, give you lay the groundwork, is you quickly find out that Buffalo is like a little corner of New York State, right? But automatically, like big giant tentacles from time of a squid master from hell, reaches into Ohio, reaches into Philadelphia, reaches all over the Midwest.
Reaches up into Canada.
Reaches into Canada, big time, especially with motorcycle riders, right? So what's going to go on? What will we find out? What we're doing with we call it investigative series is we'll look at what's going on in the background. We'll look at the activities of the motorcycle gangs, alleged motorcycle gang activity with alleged members of the mafia, right? There's other things going on. But we're also going to try to do something about the poor girl who lately died, because we think it's tragedy that anybody. Oh, is the mafia walking in?
No. I'm trying to pull something up here to supplement what we're talking about.
Okay, I thought somebody was walking with a gun or something.
Oh, well, we worry about that because of the content. Yes.
Well, I tell you, as much as walking mafia, I meant I met Frank's son, who wanted to kill me. As much he's not going to do anything because he's an old man. He doesn't do much anymore. I'm not going to go to Buffalo anytime soon.
I wouldn't blame you because
No,
they don't like you very much.
No. In fact, we've taken steps to ensure that people who want to send me stuff, and they do from time to time, can send me stuff in a way where I don't know who they are. So there's no trouble with them getting anybody's suspecting anything going on at all.
And we want to make sure that everybody knows that Wayne is not feeling suicidal.
No, Wayne's not feeling at all suicidal. I don't know Hillary Clinton. I don't know anything about dead bodies, anything like that, right? So we make sure everybody feels as safe as possible. Again, for the record, if you have your information, don't come to me with it. Go to the police. I'm not a policeman. I don't play one on TV. I'm a guy that writes books. I'm interested in information. Is how this got started. Is that some people in the city of Buffalo wanted to reach out to someone that cared, and because they read the book on Frank and they saw a couple of my old podcasts I used to do, thought that I was a person that cared, and we took a chance and say, "Hey, Wayne, we don't know what's going on in our city, but this kind of seems weird."
And they found what? They found you because they knew that you wrote about this stuff.
Right. And I did the podcast. That's how they found out about me. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the podcast. What podcast are you on?
Back in the day, I did something called Milwaukee Mob, the Milwaukee Mob Reborn. I've been doing podcasts off and on for, I would say 10 years plus, mostly in film. I just recently got in the true crime area, which I find absolutely fascinating. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
So this is what I've been trying to bring up here. And I've got this curtain that surrounds me, so I have to pull it back a little bit to look at this other monitor. I'm going to share my other screen. This is actually the book, folks, that we're discussing. And it's a hardcover. It's 8.5 by 11 hardcover with illustrations in it. So you're going to get a handsome little piece of physical media here. This
nice sizable thing.
Yeah, it's going to look nice, and you can. We found, when Wayne talked about something that was relevant, we went out and we found the photographs of such things, and we had artists do the renditions of some of the characters. This is I found this interesting. This is a Higgins pocket gallery, and it was invented by a Buffalo police officer, and it's your first mugshot book.
Yeah.
They didn't have such a thing until this guy said, "Hey, why don't we just keep all the pictures in one nice, tidy little thing and flip through it and let people."
You buy one too for around $83,000.
Yeah, exactly. And what was really funny was I was starting to look at some of these pictures. I'm like, this is like looking at a Dick Tracy cartoon. These guys actually looks like they came from a Chester Gould wasn't exaggerating too much.
No. The mafia is interesting. The mafia in New York State, Western New York State, is incredible. I mean, every so often they arrest a police officer who's involved. And it's like, wait a second. Why are these can police officers go corrupt? Absolutely, we know this, right? But if I was a witness the first time a police officer, then after I'm testifying, is now being alleged, being accused, being arrested for being in part of the mafia, I'm skipping town.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't blame him either.
No.
Because, the mafia, they can't really function if they don't have police assistance at some degree.
It takes corruption to take an act of mafia, without a doubt. You have to have a corrupt city or a state or region.
And there's so many people involved here. I found this guy interesting, this Herb Blitzstein, his connection to the Buffalo mob.
Oh, the guy they killed.
Yeah, he's dead. You don't have to worry about him coming after you.
Yeah.
And okay, here we go. Wait, there we go. I liked this when George proposed the idea to me here. So why don't we just put everybody here, and then we'll give them the bigger shots. This gives you an idea of the number, some of the cast of characters, some of the players in this book. We didn't get an illustration for everybody because it turns out that if you're, hooked up with the mob, you're usually pretty good about keeping your face out of the papers.
Right. I mean, that's the difference between New York, City of, and Buffalo is when you had Gotti running around being stupid, Buffalo went underground. right? Let's not show ourselves. Let's go underground. Let's be quiet. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do this other thing. Let's not make noise. Let Gotti get the press. That's right. Get them more photos. Tell the FBI the scum dogs. Tell that to them again. We're gonna be nice and quiet up in Buffalo, right?
Yes, and it worked. I mean, some of these pictures I was struggling to find, and of course, the interesting thing is the way the internet works is these articles would list multiple people's names, and there'd be one guy's picture in the article. So I swear, Wayne, every name I Googled, every single one of them, one of the first 3 pictures that shows up is Stefano Magaddino.
Yeah.
It's like he's all of them.
See,
oh no, they got Wayne. They took out his internet connection. Or did they take out mine? Wayne, I think I just heard you. Okay, you started moving again. You froze up.
My thing turned red, so my modem router decided to weird things, but it's black blue, so we're good.
I thought maybe they found your house and they clipped your wires.
No. I have to say, again, the Buffalo Mafia is probably, I don't use the word scared because I'm not like scared, but I'm not going to go to Buffalo, right?
Right. Yeah, why tempt fate?
Why tempt fate, right? I mean, every day, every day, well, 3 or 4 times a week, I'll get a death threat or some type of a threat on Facebook, but it's Facebook, right? Usually they call, I'm going to take down your page because it's whatever it might be, right? Okay, keep threatening. Black report.
Yeah. Just don't read it.
Don't read it.
Here's the thing about the mafia threats, folks. They're generally not public and they're not online where everybody can read them.
Unlike the nephew, who, if it is true what has been alleged, he'd use Messenger to send the poor girl who died a threatening message. That is pure stupidity.
Yeah,
because now they have now it's using an electronic device, which is a federal offense, right? That's a federal offense. Witness tampering.
Especially if he was in a different state when she received it. Now it's interstate.
They're all Buffalo, but it's still not good. It's still, again, generally speaking, most people involved in the mafia are not very smart people.
They figured out how to make money because that's why they're in it, right? They're there to make there's a niche that people want, and the thing that they want is illegal. Or and the mafia's like, we can get you that because it's going to cost more.
I mean, the biggest thing is like take cigarettes, right?
Yeah,
cigarettes in Chicago, I think about $12 a pack. Here, they're $8 a pack. That's a $4 or $5 difference easy, right? So you can go and get a couple cartons, put them in your car, drive 40 minutes south of the border. There you go, easy profit, easy day's journey, easy day's pay.
Exactly.
Right? It's illegal as shit, but hey, is they going to worry about that?
Not when it's state lines. I think there's I think they inspect you when you leave Canada or go into Canada.
Right. I mean, there's no border patrol. I'm saying that of all the crimes that Illinois is worried about, I don't think cigarette smuggling tops the list.
No, but it's interesting that you bring that up because I do know that when I drive back to Illinois from here in Arkansas, I go through St. Louis and there's this old sign, and I've always saw it, but it was only recently that I actually noticed it. And it's just this little metal highway sign says cigarette smuggling is illegal. Like, what is cigarette smuggling? I had to actually look that up to find out that the difference in tax rates between 2 neighboring states would be enough to cause a demand.
Back in the day, Chicago had a sugar tax, where a 2-liter bottle of Coke was like $5 in Chicago. 10 minutes away in Indiana is like $1.50. So people would go across the border, buy a couple cases, because people go with things that are cheaper. They don't want to pay taxes. Same thing with gambling and taxes. People say legalized gambling will stop the mafia from gambling. It won't. Nobody wants to pay taxes. I will guarantee you that in an illegal gambling house, which do exist, you're not paying taxes. You win your money, you cash in your checks, you put your money back in the car, you go home.
And that's why, some of these ventures are illegal, like prostitution. It's not the fact that the government doesn't like people having sex. It's the fact that they don't like people not paying taxes on money that they've earned.
Yeah, they want that money. That's why the book on a skim is fascinating. Is because if you think this cast of characters is wild, wait until you read the Vegas skim book that we're doing, the second edition of The Onion. Because we had to talk about Peter Roselli, right? Jenny Roselli, Handsome Jenny. And we have a list of all the people he was connected to. It's quite the list. It could be a book in itself.
Yeah, and I think it is not Handsome Johnny also mentioned in the Mafia in Hollywood book.
I think in passing. I think we talked about it with Henry Cohen offhand. But I mean, Johnny was everywhere. I mean, Johnny was everywhere. He was making money. He was a loan shark. Back in the day, 20% was usury, right? It was against the law. Usury was against the law. You charge 20% interest to get you in jail. The local car check catching place, the cash checking place we have in town, if you don't pay them in a year, it's 2,000%. Big sign. You walk in the door, you don't pay the loan back in a year, you'll pay 2,000%.
That's
rather
usurious.
Yeah, but hey, the right people in that store, the right people out of that business. So that law was changed.
Oh, I don't want to give the whole book away. I just wanted to give people a flavor of it, and I started scrolling. I'm like, I've scrolled through a lot. I better stop.
No, thank you. I appreciate people won't like the stuff. I mean, a good book for people to start with is our book on Frank Vershari. Is a good place to start. It's very simple. It's very easy reading. It's a quick read. I mean, Buffalo, I think, is a quick read too. It's a lot of fun, interesting stuff, right? Keep your interest.
It definitely is. And I'm trying to reach down here for, I know I have, there it is. It's just beyond my other stack of books. This is the Mafia in Hollywood book. Now this is the small one, folks. This is just a pocket book because it's still 150 pages almost here of information. But the rest of the books we're doing with Wayne are going to be bigger. Like I said, this hardcover here, it'll be available in paperback later, but hardcovers are nice, right?
They're nice. If you want a book, hardcover is nice. You can put it on your kitchen table. You can put it on your coffee table. You can put it in your nightstand, right?
It's a little more prestigious.
Yes.
And durable.
And durable. You can put it in your bookshelf. It'll be there in 10 years. If you want something to read over the summer, it's a bit of investment, right? But anything is. You get the Hollywood Mafia book. You get Frank.
Yeah, so we're going to do that hardcover in an 8.5 by 11, and we've done the hardcover in 8.5 by 11. All you got to do is just buy it, folks. And then we're going to do the paperback. We're going to do paperbacks in 5 by 8, your typical trade paperback size. And we're going to do all the rest of the paperbacks that way too. So we're going to have Wayne. You're going to love seeing your books side by side because those spines are just going to be consistently the same, same size, same texture and layout. Which.
That's what the cover guy was saying. The guy that does my covers, he does branding for a living. He goes, yeah, you make them all the same size, and he goes on for hours. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. He knows what he's talking about. Yeah. So, now I noticed that this is like book 1 of the investigation of the Buffalo mob. So, is there another one being compiled? I mean, is it planned or is it in the works?
This time, working on one in the Buffalo relationship with motorcycle gangs, and working on one. I'm looking at the life story of that woman who tragically died. Because our question is, we have she died, the witness died, the judge died, committed suicide. There's a priest that committed suicide. Well, I'm sorry, I forgot the air quote suicide, right?
Yes.
No,
they Epsteined themselves.
I'm sorry?
They Epsteined themselves.
Yes. I'm no expert in suicide. I understand that people depressed and other problems do commit suicide is a tragic thing. I find it hard to think that a priest would commit suicide, but it does happen. I find it really hard for the priest to commit suicide for the reasons why it's been alleged on the street he committed suicide, gambling debts, right?
Right.
It's also been alleged, and I know this is true, maybe comes out in trial, that he was aware of a death of an illegal institution owned by the nephew that owns the strip club. If that's true, against been alleged, who knows? Maybe the priest knew too much.
Had to go.
Let's hope this comes out in trial so that rumor is either laid to rest or the victim can get justice. One of the two.
So where is the trial now? Because I know you linked me
Trial's in
to a
Buffalo.
podcast. Right. I know where it is, but I
Okay.
mean,
I know.
where
I
in?
think it's supposed to start in a couple of days if they not move the trial. I think they moved the trial date. I don't know what date that starts.
Okay.
I can't believe it starts in 3 days.
It's gonna pop right up on us, and you're gonna be an in-demand person.
Well, I like what I do. Don't get me wrong. I don't like what they do. If they want a blow-by-blow, detailed name situation, they want to go to something called the Gangster Report, which is done by Scott Bernstein. It's a subscription-based thing. I think he gets $10 a month for, right? But
Okay.
he does not only the Mafia in Buffalo, but Mafia in New York and other places as well. It's in depth, go to the grain sort of a thing, right? But if you're looking for a topical exploration of stuff, Buffalo Mob. Same thing with the Skim. The Skim is more in depth than the Buffalo Mob is because me and Roger liked the Skim. We liked it a lot, how it worked, who was involved. We asked some questions like, was Howard Hughes actually alive when he was in Vegas? It was actually dead.
He was alive for a while in Vegas, though, was he? Because when he bought all those properties.
Well, see, that's the question. When I saw him, he never had to supply his fingerprints for the same thing that you and I would have to supply fingerprints to. He never had to appear in front of the gaming commission as we would have to do. You tell me.
Well, the rich have different rules, right?
They do. And another thing that people don't understand is that, yes, rich have rules, but also all the properties that Howard Hughes bought were the ones with Teamsters loans.
Oh.
The Teamsters loans were mafia controlled. Was Howard Hughes making sure that the mafia paid back their loans so the Teamsters union would be made whole? Was in fact Howard Hughes washing money for the CIA because he's also heavily involved in situations like Glomar Explorer and other CIA endeavors. That's a lot of money to do those things. Howard Hughes was a rich man. How rich was he? It's all fascinating questions. Things that we get into in detail, things we want to explore more. It's interesting. Howard Hughes is dead. He doesn't care. The mafia people mostly dead. They don't care anymore. It's just interesting things. I like that sort of shit.
Well, a whole books have been done on Howard Hughes, and because he's a fascinating character. I mean, the whole germophobic stories about how he would never touch anything unless he had it picked up with a tissue and stuff like that. We've lost your sound. We've lost your sound. Yeah, now you're muted, and now I'm going to unmute you. I can't unmute you. You've muted yourself. Hit your unmute button there on your picture. There you go. You've unmuted.
I know how that happened. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, it was not showing that you were muted, but you had still lost sound, so it was like really weird. You were not muted, but you were.
Mouse. I moved the mouse away. I moved the cursor away.
Oh, I do that all the time. I'd put my hand on my mouse just to rest it there, and I click something, and what did I click? Whoa, where'd everybody go?
Yeah, so it's up in the corner. I apologize.
Yeah, and that's just one of the many fascinating stories in the mafia in Hollywood. Which, by the way, folks, Critical Blast Publishing.
Oh, the mafia!
Find the book.
I mean, I'm so tempted, and I probably have to make Doug quit his job. We'd love to do a second volume because there's so many more stories. We really want to do the one on the mysterious sex crimes of Hollywood. Those are weird kind of stuff.
And salacious, and people want to know about them. And,
they do. I mean, Sharon Tate, I just found out last couple of years that she was taped having sex by her husband. Now, we know she was being taped. Did the people she was with being taped? Did they know? And maybe they didn't know maybe they didn't know they were, maybe then they found out. Maybe they were upset. And maybe they knew Charlie was also connected as a low-level hoodlum. So they put out a contract in Sharon? Did they put a contract down on Roman? And Roman there, who knows? I mean, the book called Chaos. I can't forget the author's name, but it's Chaos. It's the name of the book. Is written about the Manson killing. It's like thicker than thick. And he goes in all the details about that case that make no sense.
Yeah, and Hollywood, they invented the sex tape. I mean, Bob Crane, the guy who played Colonel Hogan on Hogan's Heroes, he was once there were home video cameras, he was like, you mean I can tape people doing the nasty and watch it again later? And he went full bore, did it all the time.
Right. I mean,
got
there's
addicted
all
to
kinds
it.
of that stuff going on there, right? I mean, Hollywood never ceases to amaze me on the level of being silly. And it goes all way long back ago, Clara Bow. I mean, Clara Bow was a woman of lawless morals, right? That's pretty much been shown, right? But she didn't take on the whole UNCLA football team. That's a lie. I mean, it's salacious. As you said, people like that stuff.
Yeah, of course. And one of the things, and I keep going back to your Mafia in Hollywood. One of the quotes from Marilyn Monroe, of all people, when she was asked to do the Jean Harlow film, to play Jean Harlow, and she read the script and she turned it down. She's like, "I hope when I die, nobody does this to me."
You did that to her, of course.
Yeah, because she didn't want to besmirch Jean's reputation by acting out all these insinuated things that apparently she may or may not have done.
Well, and you read the book, you can find out some things about Jean Harlow.
Yeah. So definitely get that, but it's not that expensive of a book, folks. If you want to sit down for a long read, 150 pages in paperback, it's going to breeze right by.
Yeah.
And then, get the Buffalo Mob and get caught up on your current events, especially if you're in, New York, New Jersey. I know people in these areas. They should be aware of these stories, probably seen them on the TVs.
It's something there's not a lot of press. I mean, Buffalo newspaper covers it once in a while, but not in any great detail, and not as much as it should be, which is always mystifying to me. To me, it would be front page news almost every day, especially when I have a $1 billion $1 billion stadium being built. You'd think, gee, what protections do we have as taxpayers to make sure the stadium is built honestly, effectively, and not with people who have sticky fingers?
Well, without the sticky finger money, it probably wouldn't get built, right? I mean, but I'm reminded. Did you ever see a movie called Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield?
Oh, vaguely.
Yeah, well, he's sitting in business class, and the instructor's like, "This is how you build a construction project," and he's, going through the book what you should do, and Rodney Dangerfield's like, "No, that never worked. First you got to bribe the construction workers union, and then you got to pay off the Teamsters."
Wow.
But the thing is, he was right. You don't.
Right, well, if you look at the A's going to Las Vegas, right? The A's are going to Vegas supposedly. Okay, this only recently occurred. When the A's decides to move to Vegas, those things are approved. They decide to hire someone to run the bond sales. That person turns out to be the ex-governor's wife.
Yeah,
to me,
amazing.
How amazing! What's really amazing is that make that happen to the bond sales takes months, if not years, of planning. Wait a second. They figured out who was going to sell the bonds before they made the public announcements they're going to try to move to Vegas. Therefore, if that's the case, the governor was still in office. His wife was so close to the governor. Is there a strange connection there? But the newspapers don't report it because the rah-rah thing is the A's are coming in town well to make money.
Yes. Let's just report the thing we're happy about, not the
Absolutely.
thing that might screw it up.
Yeah, and nobody looks too close because if they do, nobody makes any money. We will make that money, don't we?
Yes. Yeah, and if you we know what happens to nosy reporters who start trying to mess up a good thing. They get acid thrown at them.
Absolutely, or they blow up in cars, or like that happened in Arizona. That poor guy got blown to shit in a parking garage.
Yeah, this stuff is it's movie material for almost everybody else, but it's real events for you.
Well,
the
when you
work
think
you
that
look into.
well over 20 journalists got killed in the last couple of years reporting crime in Mexico, and they still do it, makes to me, one, I respect the bravery. We can't get American journalists to do anything, it seems, other than print what comes off the fax machine. But in Mexico, you have people reporting on the true crimes as they're happening at risk of their lives. It's amazing.
Yeah, we used to have that.
We used to have that.
But not anymore. Now it's like you said, it comes off the fax machine. You can just flip through the channels, and if you do it at rapid speed, you still get the same story, just a different word from each person, because they're all saying the same thing.
And all the efforts they have to tell you what you might think is going on is wrong. When I read the data from the New York Times, not surprised that the economy is really, really doing good, and we should be happy about it. I know people have been laid off recently. I know how much my energy bill is going up. I know how much food prices is going up. I'm on a fixed income. You're trying to tell me I'm supposed to be happy?
Well, inflation has slowed down. So,
Thankfully.
Yeah. Still high. It's just not getting higher now.
Right now, we think, well, we've been told. But, my wife goes to the grocery store. She comes back, tells me how much things cost. We took the kitten that we have to the vet. What would have cost less than $100 3 years ago costs over $300 now.
Yeah.
And if people need to get paid, they pay the vet staff. Well, lab starts, all those things add up. Those prices go up. We get that, right? But again, not to complain about the economy, which you can't do anything about, other than write a book, write a comic book. Figure out that side hustle could be. Do what it takes.
Exactly.
Talk to you about different things that you can be doing.
So we are going to be doing a lot of different things together in the future here. Wayne has a number of manuscripts that we're going to be turning into books for this collection of Mr. Big. Mr. Big Presents. And we're going to be, you talked about Like an Onion, the Vegas Skim.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a couple of different books, I believe, now.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is have you do the hardcover. We'll take the hardcover off from Amazon, and have you do the hardcover for The Onion, then have you do the hardcover and the paperback for the Vegas Skim, which is the second edition. I know we're talking about doing the cookbook potentially, and
Right.
we're doing the flip books that we discussed before.
The flip books where put a couple of books together and just put one on one side, one on the other, and flip it over. We've talked about doing a mafia coloring book, adult coloring book.
But unfortunately, like the playing cards, those sound great, right? But the problem is, how do you get the art? I don't use AI to create the art, right? At the same time,
you can do that, yeah.
But I'd rather pay an artist. Let's get talking about having a bad economy, right? I'd rather work on a cooperative basis with an artist or two, perhaps, who's looking to get that break. They can do the art. We can package it, write the description of what the mafia guy was doing, who he's involved with, what his fate was. We put it together. We split the proceeds, right? I don't know how that might look like, but we're putting it up to the universe because lots of people. I know lots of people. We'll see what happens, right?
We'll get something figured out there. I mean, that was just an idea that came out of doing the illustrations for this book. We're like, hey, look, we're getting these, thick line black and white illustrations. We could somebody could color them. We could make a big coloring book.
When I asked the question as a poll, people went nuts about it. I thought it was a great idea. And then we got the Bugsy, documentary that we want to do. I just got done with the show tonight out of a guy doing it out of Boston. People went nuts about that idea.
Yeah. Now this is the we have George in the chat. Wayne, he's our man. If no one can, Wayne can.
Thank you, George. I love your art, by the way, George.
Yeah, George does a hell of a job.
He does.
And I don't think he realizes how big of a bite he's taken lately, because he's like, hey, let's talk to this person about book. Hey, let's talk to that person about book. I think today I told him, I'm like, okay, 3 different people have their stuff uploaded for you to work on. And he's like, wait, which one do I do first? I'm like, all of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's something. I mean, that's why how do I put this other than bluntly, right? And this is called the RJ Praise segment. Knowing you has improved my life so much.
You're gonna make me blush, man.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad I ran into you. We're like I said, we're gonna put some books out, and hopefully we're gonna sell some books. We can put them out all year long, but
we got something. I mean, that's why I want to make things easy for you as I can. I mean, I'd like to tie you up and then go and have you do my book so they can get out there. I understand it's a process, and I want to make sure it's important to me to get my mafia true crime books out there before anything else, because I live in the fear that Amazon's going to get weird, and they can get weird again. They've been weird before; they're going to be weird again. And I want my books out there and other platforms that people can then buy them versus being stuck in Amazon.
Well, we don't want them to be stuck at Ingram or Amazon or Barnes and Noble. We want people to click the links. So
Yeah.
this is why we promote through videos like this. It's why I have the promotion link at the bottom of all the videos we do now. Even if we're not talking about them, the link is there. People can say, "Hey, what, you've got a store of books? Let me see what you're selling
Absolutely.
while we're talking to this guy."
Do the shopping. Do the shopping. Absolutely, do the shopping.
Yes.
That's why things like doing these shows are important. I should go back to do. I want to do one on the Hollywood crime aspect of it, because when it promotes the Hollywood mafia book, right? It might get people interested enough to say, I would buy a copy of The Mysterious Sex Crime of Hollywood now if I could, and wait X amount of time before I get my hands, see what might happen. But you have to put out the question, you have to put out the content to see people interested in it.
Exactly. Now you have a show coming up, I believe, Valentine's Day, for the Valentine's Day Massacre.
No, what we're doing on the 23rd of Kenosha is we're doing an authors talk. What I'm talking about in the city of Kenosha, Wisconsin, and a studio called Actors Craft, which is an acting studio. We're doing a talk on the role of the Chicago outfit and the early Chicago mafia. I'm sorry, one more time. The role of the Chicago outfit in the early days of Hollywood.
Okay. And again, Hollywood, Mafia in Hollywood, it's mentioned there. It's almost like the Hollywood and Mafia is like, here's a bunch of seeds for all the books we're going to be doing in the future. This is your primer right here.
When you look at Johnny Roselli, he was thick as flies in that stuff. Mostly it's just loans. But you have the guy in charge of the New Jersey mob, right? With Gene Hollow, when he's not convincing RKL to hire for a couple of films, he's taking her to Cuba. I take her to Cuba too, right?
I'd take her anywhere she wanted to go.
I'm sorry?
I'd take her anywhere she wanted to go.
Right. But the whole thing about clipping pubic hairs was a bit much, right?
Yeah.
Also, then growing up, Jean Hollow was an attractive young woman. She was attractive. She passed in her early age, tragically, right? But being an attractive woman wanted male attention. She got male attention by taking photographs, which is fine. I mean, there's much risque photos out there today on YouTube, on TikTok, and everything else. But at the time, they're very risque.
Yeah. And, she was getting photographed nude in the park by some guy just to get her name out, and it worked.
It did work.
It's a tried and true method of getting fame and fortune.
Yeah. Lucy LaBelle was thick as flies in the criminal elements in Buffalo, New York. And through her early life, Lucy LaBelle is a very interesting person because, one, she had balls. Two, she went for what she needed to get. She went and she got it. She did a lot of interesting things to get what she needed to get done, right? Great. She paid like my guy, I can't think of the guy from not George Myers, the director that did Faster, Pussycat, Kill.
Oh, I can look that up.
God, his name escapes me. I can picture him now, but I can't think of his name.
Russ Meyer.
Russ Meyer made R-rated films, kind of risque R-rated films like that. But he paid his cast. He paid the women working for him full rate. Everybody got paid. Everybody was treated right. Even if you only worked with him one or two films, you needed his help. Years later, he was there for you. Without that's what it takes. That's how you get ahead in life, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lucy Ball, thing I think about her now most of all is the fact that she's the reason why we have Star Trek.
Absolutely.
She had faith in the concept and said, everyone said no, we're going to cancel, and she said no, we're going to do it.
Yeah. Thing about Lucy Ball, so here she is back working for RKR, trying to get in the movie called Gone with the Wind, and she has to do the casting couch to try to get Gone with the Wind, right? She says it's a casting couch sort of thing, and she didn't get the role. But 20 years later, she owned RKO. Yeah. The guy that was running RKO at that time is no longer running RKO. I don't think he has a job in Hollywood. She remembered her friends and punished her enemies.
It's kind of like a my
Mafia
boss.
guy. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's an interesting concept. I mean, we can learn some things from mafia people. We can learn the things like the book we're working on that goes well with gambling and magic and numerology policy, right? Is what we learned from the early black gangsters in policy business is you get up early every day. You go to work every day. You do what it takes to get ahead. Rain or shine, you're out in the street getting doing it. You keep track of your numbers. You keep track of your expenses. You remember your network. All those things pay us off today.
Yep. Well, Wayne, this is it's always educational talking with you, and I'm trying to wrap things up here now. But I can't wait to see the next books we're going to do. I know that I'm on. I told you I'm on a February hiatus here.
Right.
Hopefully that hiatus isn't going to take the whole month. I think we're going to get done a lot faster than I thought we were, so we can start working on something else.
Right, sir.
And we're gonna. I'm gonna have to put things on a timeline, a schedule. Otherwise, it'd be like working for Wayne all the time here, because you've got a lot of material that we can publish. And we've got other people too. But I do appreciate you taking the time to talk with us about it. I definitely appreciate you coming to us to publish your books.
Yeah, I appreciate you being there for me. It really means a lot to me, sir.
I watch the numbers every single day, multiple times a day. But I'm like, did it change? Did it change? Did it change? I'm very fanatical about monitoring the traffic of the books and praying for growth and promoting them out there. And now that this book is a thing, it's purchasable. You can get it today. I'm going to be promoting the heck out of it for quite some time. So, and I'm sure you will be too.
Absolutely.
All right, Wayne, thanks again for coming on.
Thank you, sir.
We will have you again in the near future, I'm sure. Next, every time a book comes out, let's have Wayne on here and we'll talk about Mr. Big's book of true crimes. And maybe one day we'll just take them all and put them in one big fat hardcover.
Again, book should be done that way. In fact, what we should do is take all the Mr. Big books, as we do the 4-in-1, which is Amazon, take it off Amazon, put them back together, throw in the book on the use of magic and numerology.
There you go. There you go. All in one-stop shopping book right there.
Absolutely.
Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for being here tonight. We do appreciate you. We don't have a show without you guys. We're just, podcast falling in the woods.